Barashi, Jack Sherwood's had a miserable weekend so far, and this is what's great about this reverse grid racing, is that it does give you a chance. If qualifying hasn't worked, you one chance at glory. Let's see how they go and get off the line here at Thruxton. Sherwood's very slow away up into second position. Parrott having a look around the outside, and De Decker it is that's going to go for the lead. Makes a cracking start. This is the worrying moment when they head up towards the complex though for the first time, and it's De Decker who's been very consistent indeed in the blue and black car, but he's being passed by Noah Lyle. Race winner already. Noah very much out of grid position here in the reverse, and it's Lyle who grabs the lead. The championship, the man who won 2 races at the first race of the weekend of the season, is away and through. I tell you what, that was actually quite a good few opening corners from these youngsters. It's going to be very nerve-wracking for them as they head out into the country for the first time. De Decker, after grabbing the lead momentarily, is now down in 3rd position as they head out to the country. This is the part where some of the drivers, Jamie, were telling me they find it a bit boring once you've gone through the technical bits, but it is a fantastic track, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, on the camera it doesn't look too boring, but
not too shabby.
The Constantino effect with the toe and things like that, I mean, you're a sitting duck if you're the man in front, so the toe makes a massive difference here, as you can just see a train of cars being led down to the final chicane.
Well, this is the first time we've had 23 cars on the grid. You see a lot of brake locking up there. Super place to watch there, either on the inside or the outside. And look how crowded this is now. The work that has been done by the teams over the years, the MSA team, Motorsport UK team that have done a big shake-up on race places there as some of the faster drivers from the back start to work their way through. But at the end of lap 1, it's Noah Lyle, Matteo De Paolo coming through in 2nd, De Decker in 3rd, Barashi still holding on in 4th place and potentially on for a rookie podium, and then Gustav Johnson in 5th place from Jack Sherwood, who didn't really get the start that he wanted. Now things start to settle down with a total reverse grid. What's the target? Now you're coaching a couple of guys here. What was your advice to them coming into this reverse grid race?
Mainly stay out of trouble, as we know the reverse grid races can cause a few issues, but I mean you get points for overtakes as well, so it's using your head, and it's such a long race round here, and the toe makes such a big difference. It's just using your head and not trying to do too much on the first lap. You can't win it on the first lap, but you can lose it, so it's just using the head and putting the car in the right place for all the high-speed stuff to make the most of the toe.
We saw Daniel Ginchard very briefly having a look there. Now to the outside of the 77 car, Jaden Parrott goes 72, which is Sonny Smith. Bit of a slide from Noah Lyle. You've got to be brave to bet against Noah. As I say, very much qualifying out of position. Some of the Carlin cars further back than we're used to seeing them here, but you can get some points back. And if you're starting near the front, Jamie was mentioning about the points for overtaking, he might get the winning points, Noah Lyle, but he won't get too many points for making up places on his start, because he is starting that much closer to the front of the grid. As De Paolo now in his 2nd meeting with us, signed up to run as a full season in the Spanish F4 Championship, and joined us last time out at Snetterton, and we're hoping will stay with us for the rest of the season. Good coming through. That's Gustav Johnson leading the chasing group. He's 3rd at the moment, 4th and 5th, having a good race. And Jack Sherwood coming back, looks on the inside of De Decker, goes through. Jack Sherwood, more experienced, got the white background on the number, and the CDR car passes the Belgian Douwe De Decker, who's been a very consistent racer, learning his ropes here. He's one who probably benefited from a 2nd year in the championship, I would say, straight out of karting. Very little in terms of car racing coming in here, or indeed testing, but a very welcome addition to the paddock, and the driver who might use the experience next year to come back and have another go at the championship. Again, you see the lock-up. I take it that his brakes locking up there.
Yeah, that'd just be the front right locking up into there. Actually, we get to watch the pole on board now, and you actually see McIntyre have a little lock-up into the last chicane in qualifying for the pole lap, so it doesn't always mean it's the slowest way around, and he made the most of it there, made the move stick.
So here we go, good battle on here, and this is Dion Gouda who's coming through. Dion again not qualifying too well today, and he's the man that championship leader Louis Sharp needs to beat. Sharp is down in 21st place at the moment, and again looking at that criteria, as Jamie said, advising his drivers to finish. That's the first thing. Sharp needs to do that. Sharp does need to gain places though to get points, and he'll be looking at the drivers in 2nd position in the championship. It's McIntyre and Gouda who are joint 2nd in the championship tables coming into this race. 103 points apiece. The championship leader on 118, 15 points for the win in the reverse grid race, plus the points for the number of overtakes that you can do. Johnson with the fastest lap at the moment in 3rd position. It's Lyle from De Paolo 2/10 down, and a lot of the drivers were frustrated. I wasn't, but about how close things were in qualifying, and chatting to one of the drivers, Jamie, he was saying that you know, a slightly ropey gear change cost him, looking at the data, cost him 3 grid places. It's that close.
Yeah, I mean, 3 grid places can be separated by half a tenth, and if you just miss that change round here and get into the rev limiter, then you're a sitting duck for the rest of the straight. And it was so close. I mean, there was about a tenth between the first 7 or 8 cars yesterday, which is the closest I've ever seen it. So F4 doing a good job again, making the championship as close as possible. No discrepancies with the engines and stuff from one tuner. So yeah, it's made for a really close race, as you see, just the trainer cars going into the first complex.
Yeah, so much dependent on data, which is looked at to make it as legal, as close a playing field as you can. And 3 wide, we said there wasn't going to be a huge amount of overtaking or ducking and diving in this, but we are very definitely seeing it. Now we're looking in the middle of the pack there at Dan Ginchard, who had a bit of contact yesterday once again, very sadly had to pit. Wound up, I think, the last of the runners, and he's in the red, yellow and black car in the mix there. Mick Abraham's in the 29, newcomer to the championship, who wasn't old enough. He was old enough to race in Denmark in F4, but not old enough to race in the UK, which was a little bit of a shame. So had to wait till he was 15, which he turned earlier on last week. As here we've got Noah Lyle coming under pressure from Tapaulo for the lead. So Tapaulo with the rookie plates on the car, first-year driver, and we've got a good battle on here. This is great news for Gustav Johnson, who might be able to close in. So let's see if the Italian, racing in the British Championship now, but mainly racing in the Spanish Championship, which also visits the like of Spa in Belgium, just to confuse everybody, is really putting the pressure on. And he's been a very welcome addition to the championship. Looks around the outside, good racing from Lyle, who doesn't want to cede it. Side by side, and Noah Lyle coping with the pressure well. But here comes Johnson. Gustav Johnson through on the inside. Well, you've got to have a go, haven't you? Tapaulo had to have a go, but now we've got Sherwood coming up in the mix as well as Johnson. 4-way battle for the lead, Jamie. Superb stuff. Yeah,
Lyle had a big gap at the start of the race, and now you just see that toe coming into effect, and now we've got a 4, potentially coming up to a 5-car challenge for the lead as Tapaulo round the outside through 1. It does open up there, but Lyle not being too friendly there, not giving him much room, and it just compromised Tapaulo a bit through the second part of the complex.
Johnson's had a good run here as well, the rookie in the Chris Dittman racing car. We're going to see Chris Dittman up the front. That's a bit of bodywork flopping off. Is that one of the Rodin cars? That's Louis Sharp's car, maybe lost that, or is that a little bit further up the grid? Try and eyeball that for you. It's a 7th place car. Oh, Barashi, of course, started on pole position. Deegan Fairclough has got the fastest lap, so he's got a good coach, clearly.
I mean, he's just gone round the outside of the chicane as well, so he's made the move stick on Barashi, and now he can really start to attack De Decker and Gouda. And as long as the leaders, that 4-car battle for the lead, starts bunching up, this could end up being an 8-10-car battle for the lead in the end.
Deegan is very much known. You talk to all the other drivers and they know him as an attacker, as an overtaker. Now everyone wants to overtake, but I think if you've got that reputation as you use it, people know that you're always going to have a go. And as a driver, that's not a bad reputation to have, is it?
No, it's not a bad reputation to have at all, but I mean, it's easier to bring them back than give them the confidence to start going for the manoeuvres. So for him, it's just trying to chill him out a little bit. He obviously had to start from the pit lane yesterday due to the new ruling on points on the licence side of things. So he's used his head in this one. He's stayed out of trouble for now, and he's doing a good job so far, considering where he started.
Akil Alibi in the blue car there was our race winner, of course, race 2 at Snetterton, and he was fastest in testing here in the week. Really did help him that reverse grid race win. But to put the context on it, remember he started from 7th on the grid of the reverse grid race, and the young South African driver in the 14 car looking very, very good indeed. He's got Josh Irfan right behind him in the Rodin Carlin car. Rodin winning the Derby yesterday as well, so apparently none of the team had any money on that horse, which was a little bit of a pity. But again, you see the big lock-ups happening there as well. As in the mix is Jaden Parrott in 77, and down the inside line there, just making the move and picking up a few points. Is Louis Sharp there in the 11 car, the black and white, the Kiwi goes through. That's a very handy couple of places. Those points could come in well handy towards the later stages of the race. And potential championship winning stuff there from Louis Sharp, seeing the gaps, going for them, weaving through and getting safely through.
Yeah, he's only got to look at the position Gouda's in. He's up a lot of positions in this race and going to get a good overall point score as well. So Louis needs all the points he can get. And yeah, Carlin being really strong in the first few rounds. Unsure with what happened in qualifying yesterday, but given it being so close, you've only got to be a 10th off to be further down the pecking order.
We have a change for 3rd position, and Tapaulo passed on the inside by the familiar 78 of Jack Sherwood, coming under pressure from Dion Gouda, who's actually, as you said, further up the road than championship leader Louis Sharp, but also knocking on the door of podium points, which are greater. So if you get, it's actually a leap in points, and Gouda through.
Good move again. We're seeing a lot of overtaking into that last chicane now, and a lot more there than the first complex, which is a little bit unusual for here. But Gowder again, he's now into fourth, and the pace he's showing great pace. He's got the fastest lap of the race, and he's now within a second and a half of the leaders. So if he start bunching up again, we could see Gowder with a definite podium shot here.
Gowder's done very well to get on the podium. Started mid-grid. A lot of driving when you talk to, I say, just have a look and see what's going on here. James Higgins over on the gravel, and it's his teammate, I think, Mika Abrahams, who is in the mix there as well. But yeah, Dion Gowder has come up from midfield, and when you talk to drivers of formulae that have reverse grid or balloted races, they say that sometimes midfield is a good thing to do because it can get up to the front. It gives you the opportunity. Somebody off in the gravel, can't see who that is very clearly, and well, we can now. It is Pat Hoytsenroder, and around goes the 26 as well. So issues for Isaac Barashi, the pole position man, is off on track. We're hearing it might also be Gabe Stilp, who very nearly had pole position this weekend. He'll be back out to play in race 2. But meanwhile, we go back to the race leader. It's Lyle from Johnson, Sherwood, CDR 2 and 3. And safety car is going to be deployed. Scott Stringfellow gets to get out and lead another lap. And look, they need to sort themselves out. Dion Gowder checked up well there. I don't know if we'll be able to catch up and see what caused the incident with the cars off on the that have caused the safety car in the build-up to it. There we go. Drivers are okay, which is the most important thing. Whereabouts is that, Jamie?
Just out to the first complex, just out the exit.
So Kiel Alibi's making move on Sonny Smith on the inside.
Not giving enough room. The sandwich effect there from the car in the middle, I think.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then Barashi,
I beg that was Pat Hoytsenroder.
Just dropping a wheel on the exit at Goodwood, unfortunately.
So unrelated one. So yeah, it was Pat Hoytsenroder, I beg your pardon, not Akil Alibi. Akil's still running and looking to try and make his way further up through the field. So the pole position man, Isaac Barashi, held on very well at Donington Park from pole position and was took the time to chat to me in the holding area. I think the last thing you want is a commentator going down and annoying you when you're trying to get in the zone, particularly for a new driver. But he was very happy to have a chat. So we get a bit of reaction. Yeah. Understandable frustration. Meanwhile, we've got the recovery, which should be underway. Scott Stringfellow and Kieran Salmons ready in the Porsche to pick up the field. And this is similar territory where we were yesterday. We had an incident on the final turn where in the closing stages of the race we did get going again, but they actually finished that checkered flag under safety car, didn't they, in the end?
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame, really. I mean, it was a big incident at the last chicane, and we have a little bit more time now than we did yesterday, so hopefully we can get going again. But I think Alibi on side to the Hoytsenroder can only see Smith, Hoytsenroder can only see Smith, so it's just not giving each other enough room at all, and I think the innocent party is actually the one in the middle there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They were all trying to find their little bit of space, and it was actually Akil Alibi, wasn't it? It was walking away, disconsolate, taking the race win at Snetterton last time out, and this time winds up in the gravel. There he is, the amiable South African driver, and he needs to come back now in race 3 of the weekend. We're actually qualified in 8th place, so he's in with a shout for race 3, and he will be disappointed. Makes it back to the safety of the marshal's post. Now, of course, this is a timed race, so we don't get any added laps on, and the time ticks away, so they just lose a little bit of racing time as the marshals will go to recovery area. That's going to, the further away it is from the start-finish line, the recovery vehicles, and the further they've got to push them, the more it's going to eat into the race, isn't it? So the way things stand, Lyle here is going to potentially pick up a decent win, but good for CDR to be on the podium, and we probably would have expected Dan Ginchard up there, but he's going to be one of the faster drivers, so nearer the front in race 3. Now, heat-wise, what's the ramifications for a driver in terms of, you know, how do you keep yourself cool, and how do you manage the tyres and the engines in these cars when you're on the safety car?
The heat mainly affects the tyres more than the driver really needs. I mean, we're almost a convertible. We got the roof down, taking the wind in our hair. So it's mainly the tyre. The tyre starts to go off quite a lot because it's so hard on the rear tyres around here, high speed. I mean, the F4 cars only brake twice here, and the rest of it they're flat for. So I don't know the percentages. I wasn't particularly great at maths, but like we said, it's the fastest circuit on the track, so the left rear tyre does take a pounding, especially when it starts to heat up.
We've seen the drivers doing the weaving, and a lot of people debate it and ask you, is that necessary?
It's necessary to maintain the temperature in the tyre, but a cool-down lap here is actually worth a lot of time. So when you're driving around for 4 or 5 laps at a time, the car just starts to move around a bit. A cool-down just brings the tyre back to you, and you get to go again, and you actually find time just from having a cool-down. So it'd be more of a, rather than generating more tyre temp, it'd just be the maintaining it.
The drivers have got to get head round Alton Park, haven't they, in a fortnight? So we go from you know, a nice wide open, fast flowing circuit pretty much to Alton Park, which is a completely different ball game. And well, the kill alibi we saw there has got to get his head back in gear really for the second race. But Lyle there, Dion Gowder still with the fastest lap. It does close things up. Just need to look at the progress of the various championship runners. And Louis Sharp's up into 13th and started. Yeah, so he's made up a few positions, so he'll get a few championship points for that. Dion Gowder is up ahead. Dion Gowder will take or consolidate second position of the championship at the moment, as he is ahead of Will McIntyre. But McIntyre's made up a few positions from the starting place, which again is what you need to do. Now we're wondering whether we are going to get clear with 4 minutes on the clock, whether we might get one lap potentially if they get the cars cleared. Well, we're hearing that the Thruxton team have done a fantastic job as ever, and we should get a green flag next lap, so we are going to get some more racing. And I'm going to put Jamie on the spot once again. Looking at the timing screen at the moment, where's your winner?
Oh, it's going to be so hard. Lyle, as long as he gets a good restart, he could be okay into the first complex, and then Johnson, Sherwood and Gowder will have to defend from each other. And the result of this race for Lyle is so dependent on the safety car restart. If he doesn't have a good one, they'll tow up to him and be able to either go on the outside or inside of him into one. And if he gets a good start, then he'll just drop the rest of them and leave them to do the fighting separately. So this is what we wanted, though. There wasn't too much going on at the front, and now there's going to be a train of 20 odd cars, so it should be exciting going into that first complex.
And Barash's bodywork still very much on the thing, so we might get that. We've still got the lights on the safety car, even though we are hearing the lights won't go off until they're a little bit further around the lap. I guess, okay, lights are out now, and let's see what the young Aussie Noah Lyle can do. Was racing last weekend in the Spanish F4 Championship, had a reasonable weekend. De Paulo did as well. We'll come back to how they did maybe in race 3, but let's see whether the Aussie, leading from the Swede with the Englishman Jack Sherwood in 3rd place, can pull away and make the most of this into the club chicane, out of it, floors it now. Remember, they overtake until they go over the start-finish line. They see the pit boards go through, and it's Lyle that will lead from Johnson, Sherwood, Gowder, De Paulo. Fairclough is in 6th place. Dowie Dedecker is 7th. Kanato Lee is in 8th place. And what's the Jamie Caroline rating on the restart?
Not bad. He's obviously done a good enough job not to get put under too much pressure into the first complex. We've got the 2 CDRs almost needing to work together here, but they're starting to fight a little bit, and Lyle's just starting to pull away again.
Yeah, the 2 Chris Dittman Racing CDR machines, both of course paying their entry fees, so necessarily be any team orders. So we look a little bit further back, Aidan Neat in the blue and pink car, looking to try and make up some progress. Run very well yesterday, close for second. Lyle is away at the moment, so this could be another Rodin Carlin win here. Dion Gowder wants to make it 2 Carlin cars on the podium. He's the black and pink car, which is running in 4th place at the moment, with De Paulo and Fairclough in behind as well. Let's see what Deegan Fairclough can do. He's the black car at the back of the group at the moment, making really good progress. And I love this view as they come up Woodham Hill. This is the one you see from the circuit commentary box, side by side. Gowder coming under pressure and holds on to it from De Paulo in the 53. So at the moment, Gowder is the man under pressure. He's not really getting close enough to Sherwood to battle for that podium position as they go across the line again with 1 minute 24 on the clock. Gowder in 4th place, still the fastest man on track, with, we reckon, this and 1 more lap to go. Are we going to get a change for second? He's having a very good look at the moment. Is Jack Sherwood, the slightly more experienced of the 2 Chris Dittman Racing drivers. And I've got to say, second place car looking getting crossed up there.
Getting a little bit crossed up, and that's going to compromise his exit up to Noble and Goodwood. And just further on in the background, we see Deegan Fairclough make the move on De Paulo as well, so he's now going to be in the mix as well.
Good spot. De Paulo coming under pressure as well from, I think, Kanato Lee. So I mean, there is Kanato in the number 6 car, so Kanato coming through. And yeah, we do see drivers drop back from their lead positions in this reverse grid race, but it gives them that experience of starting off the front, and it will help build their confidence. Even if they lose a few places, they'll know that they can mix it with some of the faster guys who are trying to come through. So there is De Paulo chasing Kanato Lee, the Japanese driver, back to the race leader. Lyle in black and yellow out front. Johnson in 2nd place from Jack Sherwood, the rookie. Oh, and they crossed up again. What a thumping the curbs and the cars take as they go through the club chicane. The clock's about to run down. They go across the line, the race leaders, and onto what will be the last lap. And Noah Lyle has managed things very, very well indeed here. He started 5th on the grid, so he'll get 4 points for going from 5th to 1st, plus the 15 points for winning the race. And side by side there, and Gowder clatters into Sherwood. Gowder is going to go up into 3rd as a result of that. Sherwood rejoins, but has lost the podium position.
Lost the podium position there. It was a bit of a late dive from Dion, but I think he had enough of his car at the inside of him before they made contact. So it's going to be one of those of 50-50 racing incident potentially, and we've just seen a wing break for. Is that the Paolo?
The Paolo is, yeah, good spot, Jamie. They'd be hoping it doesn't go. Yeah, hoping it doesn't go under the front wheels. He'll probably realise that it's off. Here's a replay of what happened. Oh, yeah, you called it spot on first time.
Yeah, it's a little bit late from that angle in a slow.
Will there be a judicial over that? Is Andy Butler, the clerk of course, going to get called into play?
I think so. I mean, there's been a move, there's been contact, and someone's gained a position and someone's lost 3 or 4, so I think they will have to look at it. But from that point, I mean, it did look like he did have enough up the inside, but it's not the best angle for us to judge it from.
They'll look at all of those as we look at the race winner of the first race of the day here for the F4s. Noah Lyle takes the win. It is Gustav Johnson in 2nd position, an outright podium pin. Dion Gowder provisionally in 3rd. Then Deegan Fairclough up into 4th place from Kanato Lee. Jack Sherwood recovers for 6th position from Dowie to Decker Josh Irfan. Then it was Sonny Smith, Kai Darianani coming through into the top 10 in the number 8 car. But there is Noah Lyle. Good job from Noah, who has, that's his 2nd win of the season for Noah Lyle. He's had another win, remember, in the first round of the Championship at Donington Park. He's had a brace of 2nd positions and a 3rd, and doing what you need to do if you don't get the rub of the green in qualifying. Make the progress through in the reverse grid race, grab the points. Didn't get the Motul fastest lap points, that went to Dion Gowder, but Lyle did everything really that he needed to do there in a reverse grid race.
Yeah, whatever compromised him in qualifying has obviously affected race 1 and 3, but he definitely made the most of the reverse grid race there. He didn't have it easy either. He's had to do a safety car restart. He had a lot of pressure from the CDRs and the Argenti cars behind him, but showed good pace, used his head and put his car in the right places at the right time.
And I think that race, yeah, a little bit of contact. We could debate whether it was a result of the reverse grid, but for me, I love seeing the reverse grid racing, whether it's fully reversed or partial. It's a good formula. It's great that it tests the drivers out, doesn't it? And well, you'll say yes because you did it. You got the hat trick here, didn't you?
Yeah, back in my day, it was only
back
50.
In my day, that's me that should be saying.
It was only a 50% reverse grid, and now it's a complete reverse grid, following in the steps of like the next step from Formula 4 and GB3. They do the same. So yeah, we did do the hat trick last time here, and had to do it for our mate Billy Wiz, and he had the big banner at the last chicane. So yeah, that was a special weekend, one I'll remember for a long time.
It was a great weekend, and I'm just grateful we get the chance to work with you in the Com Sports now, get your expertise here on a wonderfully sunny day here at Thruxton. Massive crowd. They'll be getting something that's very English here at Thruxton, which is the very warm round of applause that you get from the 2 grandstands, and they applaud, the spectators applaud every single driver coming through, which is lovely. Here's how they finished round 11 of the ROKiT F4 British Championship, certified by FIA. Noah Lyle, 2nd win of the season for him. Gustav Johnson in 2nd from Dion Gowder, who got the fastest lap. Gustav Johnson winning the rookies as well, as you can see. 4th place goes to Deegan Fairclough from Kanato Lee. Jack Sherwood in 6th from Dowie De Decker and Josh Irfan. Then in 9th place, Sonny Smith. Top 10 completed by Kai Darianani for Virtuosi. Will McIntyre was 2nd in the championship. I think now will be dropped momentarily to 3rd. We'll see how things change out in race 3. 12th goes to Louis Sharp, then Aidan Neat and Dan Ginchard. Jimmy Pazik, race winner already this weekend, down in 15th. That's how tough it is. Jaden Parriott, 16th from James Higgins and Matteo De Paolo. Mika Abrahams, 19th from Gabe Stilper, into the drivers that we saw very sadly having problems in the race. Additional ones of those, Isaac Barashi, Pat Hoytsenroder and Akil Alabai. So one more race to go this weekend, and as we head out of round 11, it's Louis Sharp, who now leads the championship by just 2 points. So that puts the pressure on the young Kiwi, the young Indian driver Dion Gowder chasing him. Will McIntyre is 3rd from Kanato Lee. Noah Lyle in 5th. James Higgins in 6th from Jimmy Pazik and Aidan Neat. Deegan Fairclough in 9th, and Akil Alabai completing our top 10. So there will be debriefs and data to have a look at back in the paddock. Meanwhile, it's Parc Ferme and celebrations for Noah Lyle. Grab yourselves a cup of tea, and a Bicky will be back.